So for our prototypes, we were able to meet with some veterans both in the area and at the Veterans Hospital in order to see what they thought about our prototypes. Some of the feedback we got on our first prototype, which was sort of a built-in neck pillow, is that we anticipated that people would not want something detachable that they could take on and off, but probably forget and become like stressed out about having to remember. But we found that people actually were kind of interested in being able to take it off and have their gear be as lightweight as possible. So that was a pretty interesting insight. Most people said that it was comfortable and they might use it, but only if it was issued. They probably wouldn't seek it out, and then it wasn't particularly exciting as neck pillows do exist. Other people told us about concerns about their neck falling forward when they were like on a bouncy truck or plane, so they wanted it to kind of close and keep their head upright. And we're really concerned about whether or not it was washable. That seemed to be a big deal to people.
And then our second prototype was some sort of like blanket or sleeping bag that would be attached to the bottom of their jackets that they would be able to like unroll and just lay on. And we had one user straight up tell us they hated it. Another user was saying that they wouldn't use it as it was made, but they would just kind of like fashion it into their, like turn it around backwards and wear it as a blanket. So from that, we took that it's not very different from any type of blanket or sleeping bag that they would already have or they could get. And one of our users also mentioned that for her uniform, they would have to tuck their jackets or shirts into their pants, and so having that attachment on the bottom would be awkward and wouldn't be very comfortable. And also the idea of sleeping with the jacket, there wouldn't be a time where you would sleep with just the jacket and not the rest of your clothes, so there wouldn't really be a reason to have something attached to the jacket to keep you warm.
Yeah, and for our third prototype, which was a sleeping mat that had sort of an inflatable portion that could turn into a pillow, so you wouldn't have to bring your own pillow, people seemed like they would much rather have a pillow, even if it was bulky, than have one that's built into the sleeping mat. We heard that not everyone uses the sleeping mats because they smell bad and aren't clean because they're passed from person to person, and other people liked having a detached pillow so they could put their arms under it, move it around, keep it cool, flip it over, those kinds of things. So we started with the assumption that we wanted to maximize the efficiency of the items they did have, but one of the things we ran into is that not everyone uses everything that's issued to them for various reasons. So we have to pay more attention to what people actually use if we're going to make it more functional. Should we talk about user?
Yeah, so right now the questions that we have about our users is basically what kind of sleeping conditions are we trying to work around? Are we working with soldiers who are sleeping on the base? Are these soldiers who are going out on missions? And there's lots of variations within those missions. Are they long trips? Are they short trips? I think we ran into this idea that there are so many different sleeping conditions that we could be working towards, and so I think we just kind of need to hone that in and solidify that a little bit more.
Yeah, and another one of the things that we're running into is people can handle a good degree of discomfort when it comes to sleep, and that the real problems that they're facing have nothing to do with how comfortable or uncomfortable they are physically, but a lot to do with how stressed they are in this very kind of scary, unknown environment, and that a lot of people really seem to struggle with that. So we're going to try to conduct more interviews to see what that need really is and what actually can make them feel better so they sleep better and perform better. So that'll hopefully inform some of the insights we get, and we're hoping to maybe refine some of our prototypes to better reflect that, in our final ideas.